Welcome to Building Texas with Justin McKenzie and Summer Bobarack. Sponsored by the Boerne-Kendall County Economic Development Corporation and Das Greenhouse. And now, here's your host, Justin McKenzie.
Welcome to Building Texas on Boerne Radio 103.9 FM. We have an exciting repeat guest, our first repeat guest this week in Jennifer Milton. And we also have Kevin London in the studio. We're going to get to all of those stories soon. Jennifer, you may remember, is episode 8. Early on, a great episode for us and a surprising episode for me because I've known you for a long time, but I've known you through my friend Mai, and I've known you through just being around town at the breweries, the music festivals, etc. But I was blown away in that episode about the impact that you make and where you professionally spend all of your time. And I don't know how you have enough. And we'll talk about that as well. But welcome both of you into the studio.
Thank you.
Thanks, Justin.
You have to answer because you've all come in color coordinated. And I'm trying to figure out why blue and green is such a color coordinated event today.
Oh, thanks for asking. Blue and green are the colors that represent Donate Life. I kind of covered a lot of that territory in episode 8, which is I run the organ transplant program at University Health Transplant Institute and volunteer nationally for Donate Life America. So it's a month that the country focuses on raising awareness of the need for organ, eye, tissue, living donation, and the success of transplantation. I've taken it a little overboard compared to the rest of the country and had a personal commitment starting about 7 years ago to wear those colors and support the cause every day of the month on behalf of the patients that my team love on and care for every day that are on the waiting list for a transplant.
No, we talked a lot about your role and your passion for transplants. I love the Miracle Junkie conversation that we had, but you're the past chair of Donate Life and you're taking on the challenge of not repeating an outfit. And we can go on LinkedIn and Facebook and find Donate Life and see some of these shenanigans, I assume.
Yeah, I have a really esteemed board of directors, head of the American Association of Tissue Banks, the head of the Hospital Association of America, the Eye Banking Association of America, and they knew that I did this, but I sort of challenged them to take it up a notch because I know when I walk through my clinic or walk through the hallways with my staff, they really get a kick out of it. And I think when they see a leader really throwing themselves in and having fun with the month and raising awareness in even just a little way. So that board of directors challenged me this year that I wouldn't repeat a single outfit more than once. So this is the first year I've posted, and I really start with the outfit. And the most beautiful thing about the outfits, and I often tell those stories on Facebook or LinkedIn, is almost everything I wear, or at least a piece of each outfit, was gifted to me. So I had a beautiful experience where a patient's grandmother came to clinic with the patient only to come bring me a necklace. And that necklace had been her grandmother's. And it was blue and green. And here this family wanted to give me this piece of memory and heirloom because they wanted to contribute to raising awareness. So every day when I post, you'll see almost a piece and what year it is, a 1954 dress. Yesterday it was a 1986 twist-a-bead. I think the clothing has really resonated with people, but gives me a nice way to tell a story. And a lot of times I'm also telling stories of our brave and pioneering patients and teams. So the posting has brought me great joy. I joke my last post is going to be me back in my regular black, tan, gray, and white business suits.
A little pop of color. And I've been at your house and you can see this passion in everything about your life. And it's visible in your living room. It's visible in your outfits. So in the last episode with you, I learned so much about living donation and really what it meant and how big the role San Antonio plays in that conversation. So thank you for educating me on that topic.
Thank you.
Kevin, how did you and Jennifer meet?
Well, I jumped into her DM on Facebook, just blindly, sending her a message with all due respect. I had done some research. I started a cornhole league here in Boerne, the Texas Hill Country Cornhole League, and I was passionate about it. And I found a nonprofit that I wanted to focus with, being Blessings in a Backpack. And I did some research of why is there not a cornhole league here in Boerne already? And I Googled, and I ended up finding this guy, Jay Milton, who was just amazingly involved with the community in so many different ways. And his passion about cornhole and passion about blessings of backpack just aligned with me. My parents always raised me to, respect others. And this is probably where I'm going to get teary-eyed. Sorry. I reached out to Mrs. Milton and just wanted to respectfully ask for the blessing to be able to contact those league members and to basically pick up that torch Mr. J. Milton had helped someone with the community. I waited and waited for some time, and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm going to hear back from her or if I'm going to, get a message in return. And all of a sudden I did, and she was like, give me a call. And I called her, and she told me how heartfelt it was to receive that message and to, hear that someone would actually take the time to contact her about it. And immediately she invited me to her home, of all places. How respectful of that, of being, hey, come to my house for a party and I want to meet you in person. And she was like, absolutely, let's talk about this. From there, it's just been, the sky's the limit.
What's your version of that story, Jennifer?
Well, I know that last episode we talked a lot about just grieving Jay, and I always say Jay died of happiness no matter the cause. And if you've been through widowhood or just losing somebody really close to you, everyone will tell you one of the biggest gifts you ever get is when family and friends just out of the blue tell you, oh, I thought of Jay today, or send me a picture, this made me think of Jay. It's hard to describe what it felt like when this Facebook message came through. First of all, very few people call me Mrs. Milton. So I thought, whoa, what is this? But it was so incredible to think, even after Jay had been gone, here's this person who never knew him, who obviously in just that first message was like-minded, really focused on bringing the community of Boerne together and building Boerne. It was so beautiful to me. I went right on the back porch and cried and cried and cried and cried. Tears of joy. I mean, it was total joy to think after losing him, he was still touching people in Boerne. And all I could really muster was, please call me at that point. And it was the day before Thanksgiving that we first talked. And there were so many things. I joked that when Jay passed away, he had started the Boerne Cornhole League. And I told Kevin, I couldn't give that stuff away. It was like, he wouldn't believe all the boards and what am I going to do with this? And then just to find out Kevin had been a Navy man, that his father had been in the Navy. There were so many linkages. It just felt a little magical to me. So we were having a party. Jay always threw a Dickens on Main tailgating, and we had him out right away. And it just felt like we'd known each other a really long time. It was very magical for me. And I think that's continued even later. But after we met, Kevin would say, oh, I had a meeting with so-and-so, and Jay's name came up. Or every time I hear about Jay, I hear about how wonderful he is. It always cracks me up. He never says, I hear what a curmudgeon he was. It's maybe just like after your passing, people see you through these rose-colored glasses. But it felt very magical for me. And I watched Jay organize this cornhole league. Jay wasn't a cornhole player. He really was trying to support a local brewery in town through creating an event on an evening that was kind of a downtime for the Boerne community. And he was so competitive. He knew once these cornhole players came up, he could not compete with them. I mean, I think it was humbling for him. But I would come home from work, and there he would be, like in this precision mapped out cornhole system out in the garage, practicing cornhole all the time to run the league. So anyway, I knew then, if Kevin can organize a cornhole league, and I watched Jay do it, it's essentially about the work of organizing a Boerne 0.5K once a week. I reached out. We had done the Das Greenhouse interview and during that interview, I had sort of made a plea. My job is, to say it's a labor of love, but my goodness, is it a lot of labor.
Yeah.
I just never had the bandwidth or the skill set to be a grand organizer. So I called Kathy at Blessings and Backpack, and we've just been mourning the loss of income to Blessings without Boerne 0.5K, the loss of community event. It's such a beloved event. It's like a family event. People will come up to me with their young kids and go, she was a baby when we did the first one. So I called Kathy and I said, I might have found the guy. So we took Kevin and his wife out for breakfast one morning and made our sales pitch. And here we are today.
It was a pitch, for sure.
Well, I appreciate it because Jay did have a big impact in creating that community event. And it's a community event that everybody loved. It was an easy one to get behind. And so it's been a couple years since that event has happened.
Yeah, we had an amazing, great friend who she walked in my house just weeks after Jay died with champagne, coffee, a planner, and said, I'm going to run the Boerne 0.5K for you this year. And gosh, it was amazing. We had a phenomenal event another year. It sold out every year. We opened it up to 500 people. It sold out in 30 minutes. And our sponsors are so loyal. You know, it was a fantastic event. But she told me that day, I can only do it this one year. So truly, I've had a very easy excuse this last year, which was, oh, they've been working on City Park. You know, we walk the exhausting 0.5K is along City Park, and all of that has been under construction. But truly, the Boerne 0.5K has been under construction, and without a master organizer, I mean, we have an incredibly loyal board of directors, sponsors, as I mentioned, and participants, and the whole community and city come out. But without that Grand Pooba is what we called him, and I think I called him on episode 8.
Yep.
We were looking for that master organizer, and anyway, and here he sits with us.
Well, and it's interesting because I knew Kevin before y'all met. He had come in and we'd started working together at Dust Greenhouse and a couple different projects. And so when you found somebody, I was thrilled, and you said, oh, it's Kevin, and we knew him. So it was a fun reconnect, and then Kevin came in and shared with me that he had had that conversation and he'd listened to that episode and understood my passion for what you do. So it's fun to see the circles, they all come together. And when they overlap like this and they create an opportunity for us to go out and have a positive impact, it's really fun to see.
I can absolutely agree with that. You know, it's like connecting the dots there and having that conversation with different people. And just to come to find out, when I was talking to Jennifer here at Cibolo, and we were like, oh, yeah, I'm working with Dust Greenhouse. She's like, oh, I know Justin. And, you know, we just connected in that, so much more in that way. But yeah, I think, you know, just encompassing all the relationships that we have here in this community is such a positive impact overall.
This week, Building Texas is proud to highlight an AFJROTC cadet and everything they're experiencing through the ROTC program at Boerne ISD.
Hello, my name is Jack Osborne, and I'm currently a senior at Champion High School in Boerne. I've been in the Boerne AFJROTC program for 4 years. So my story within Boerne AFJROTC starts in 2020. Coming from a military family, I had some interest in the JROTC programs that our school offered. And what really stunned me about the JROTC program is just the opportunities it provided to me. During my junior year, I was able to apply and received a flight scholarship from the Order of the Dedalians, which is a private veterans organization. And through this scholarship, I was able to get flight training hours over the summer, and now I almost have achieved my private pilot's license. In the future, I'll be attending the United States Naval Academy. I will be shipping off this summer and eventually commissioned to be an officer in either the U.S. Navy or U.S. Marine Corps. Overall, the unit has been fantastic in helping to provide opportunities, scholarship, and community for me that have helped me now and will continue to help me in the future.
So what are you thinking as the new Grand Pooba of the 0.5K? How can people get on board and support you?
Well, first of all, I just want everybody to know I'm absolutely honored to take on this position. From what I've read and know about Jay Milton, he's got some big shoes to fill, and I'm never going to, try to fill those shoes. I just want to carry on and keep this alive as I can for the Boerne community. But, there's a lot of folks out there, there's a lot of business owners, a lot of the community that are interconnected in so many different ways. If people can get involved and volunteer and help out, organizing, donating, spreading the word, that's going to be like the core thing, I believe, with all this. That's what's going to make it all come together.
When are you targeting the next event? Do we know?
Well, we've discussed in October. I did have some business owners and moms come up to me, and they're like, Kevin, please do not do this during the break in October for Boerne ISD. We have not been able to attend it due to that. And so I've kind of, vowed to not do it during that period of time. So we're trying to shoot for, I'm thinking probably the third week of October. My 11th year anniversary, wedding anniversary of my wife comes in October 25th, and can't interfere with that one. But I think we can do it the third week if that works out.
Awesome. Well, we'll look forward to that. And sponsors, I know we have a great group of loyal sponsors in town, but you're looking for sponsors.
Absolutely. Anybody can sponsor. Businesses can sponsor. Individuals can sponsor. I mean, just about anybody out there that wants to get involved in this and help bring the community together, for this wonderful event can get out there and sponsor this.
I mentioned the sponsors of all the years previously. How lucky are we that, they're the ones calling us saying, when can we give you money?
Yeah.
How can we give you money? But if you've done the Boerne 0.5K, or if you've not, you can go look at past pictures. Obviously, covering the territory of 0.5K means we've got 500 people we've got to move in a short distance as, orderly as possible. So there's not, along the way, I think there's a really fun opportunity for the sponsors. We have the smoking, which is a candy station, a donut station, anything where a person, if you're thinking about sponsoring and you've got a great idea where somebody can stop and have really a photo booth. Yeah. And so there's a lot of opportunity there to think out of the box and think of, people come, it dazzles me every year. They come in costumes. They come pulling each other in wagons, huge families of people in big inflatable costumes, and they love stopping and doing these really crazy little antics with their free pint of beer from Dodging Duck or their free pint of beer from Cibolo at the end. Usually have live music at the end, so sponsorship opportunities for food trucks or stages, or we would love to do a live karaoke at the end, just to continue to let that party keep rolling. So I think when there are sponsors who just want to help out, get their team there. There are sponsors that we have a VIP option that you can pay twice as much and not have to go the whole exhausting 0.5K, but ride a limo. They'll take you and drop you off at the end.
One of the things I really appreciated about the 0.5K, really, it took off like a rocket because it got picked up by Good Morning America. Yeah. And you have international fans and following for this small town 0.5K.
We've got these great pair of sisters who come in from Washington, D.C. every year. And they've been after me every year, like, when's the event? And they always take the limo ride, and they always wear outlandish outfits. And they're twin sisters. And I think on the website, you can see her on the Facebook page. For some reason, we went viral in France. And so I have this great map printed in French with like an arrow pointing to little old Boerne, Texas. And then a couple from France came and they were holding their big flags. So it was a fluke. I think I talked about it before. The week Jay was publicizing it, there was a story that aired nationally. And Good Morning America was looking for background on somebody and went to the Boerne City webpage. And they just got the giggles over the 0.5K and ended up running it on Good Morning America. So Jay got a call from Race Magazine that we were the fastest selling athletic event in the United States, which, oh my gosh, I think I talked about it before. The most amazing thing about the 0.5K, it's so much fun. It's a family tradition. Brings the community together, does a lot for Boerne. People come in for the day and enjoy our beautiful town and city. But the most amazing thing is it raises enough money for Blessings in a Backpack that they were able to feed 2 high schools of children whose families don't have the means to feed them on the weekends. So these kids go to recess or out for their break, and teachers clandestine go stuff food in their bag. And I told the story after the first or second race. At the very end of the race, a very prominent gentleman from Boerne, business owner, walked up to Jay and handed him a $5,000 check. And he said, when I was a little boy, I stole food for my sister and brothers because they were starving. And you can imagine a kid who comes to school hungry, chronically hungry and malnourished. How can you ever give them the right start in life? How can they ever learn if their whole body, everything metabolically is just food, food, food? So it really is a blessing. And Jay's rules of the 0.5K, and I think in our first talk, I said to Kevin, here's the deal. It only comes with a few rules. And the first one is the money has to go to Blessings in Backpack. It's a charity that's local to Boerne. Every cent that goes to Blessings in a Backpack is directly helping a child in need in our town. And they let Jay be Jay, and they're going to let Kevin be Kevin. Meaning if it's done with humor, if it, it's carrying out the mission as creatively as possible is what it is. The second rule was it had to benefit Dodging Duck and Cibolo Creek Brewing or be part and parcel in partnership with them. Because when Jay had this harebrained idea, the owners of those two businesses were like, all right, sure, that sounds cool. And man, have they been slapping a lot of free beer. And then the other was he always wanted it branded the Boerne 0.5K because he loved the community of Boerne. He did everything he could to make Boerne better in smart ways. And even after he died, people would say, oh, you should call it the JK, like just kidding, or, somehow make it the Milton 0.5K. But I can hear him loud and clear telling me to stick to the rules.
I have fun in San Antonio, or even I've seen it in Austin. You'll be driving down the highway and you see the 0.5K sticker.
Jay gave it away. He knew it would be fun. It would be a little more competitive for fundraising than actual 5 or 10Ks because he couldn't have done one of those. He knew a lot of people couldn't. But so many people around the country have started doing them. And I get these beautiful messages all the time from people saying, hey, I just did my 7th 5K. I can never not think of Jay. We talk about him at the podium. Blessings in a Backpack. He taught them how to do it. It's now their signature national event, and chapters are doing it all around. He taught Helotes. Helotes reached out to him, the city of Helotes. He drove out there and taught them how to do it, and their event's been live. I have another sticker on a car. It's like I forget the acronyms, but it was like the Association of Micro Marathons for slackers. So I think he just saw it as a great fundraising opportunity for any business, and he never concerned himself with giving those gifts away.
Well, I'm so glad that we've come full circle and really in a time where we get to celebrate all of the passions that you put so much into. Circling back to green and blue, I'd hope to see some of our 0.5K participants and coming out in that way. Kevin, you are filling some big shoes. I'm going to make the call again. Support around calendar invites and all these things. It feels like you need to go through a program that helps you take it from idea all the way through.
Oh, absolutely. It's definitely, I tell myself all the time, I feel like I'm overwhelmed, but then I just pray about it and it comes to me. Everyone coming together, everybody, volunteering, and everybody looking at sponsorships and how they can get involved and work together on this is what's really going to bring the community together in such a huge way and keep this Boerne 0.5K alive with all the rules, like Jennifer mentioned, that we have to adhere by, and we will adhere by those rules.
Is it best for people to find you on Facebook?
They can find me on Facebook. They can find me around town. I'm a general contractor and outdoor outfitter. I work all over town, and but yes, Facebook's great. You can do that. You see me around. Don't feel bashful or shy to come up and say hello, introduce yourself. I'll give you my phone number, and we can definitely connect.
And then the last acknowledgement of you have great sponsors. They're all ready and primed to go. I assume Hamby's is probably joining the club too. But what an exciting opportunity for us to have an event in the fall that really does bring Boerne together and help us navigate through bringing it back to life, celebrating all the people that are coming to visit because of the 0.5K. And then just the publicity that we get around the greatest part of our community, and that is our nonprofit giving and support of really meaningful needs.
Of course, I couldn't agree more, Justin. I will say Kevin and I also had this talk, these things that keep coming up sometimes, and they feel very like Jay has this hand in it somehow. But I know I talked a lot about Jay's business birth from a co-op working space and how excited I was for DOS Greenhouse to be here. Because, of course, right after Kevin reached out to me, it was such a beautiful message, but of course I wanted to immediately go okay, is this guy legit, And everybody I talked to in the community talked about his integrity, his hard work, and products of his work and his business. And not only do I want him to run the 0.5K, but he's going to take the lead in building a house for my mother on my property too. But the actual root of this radio show, this concept of building Texas, the concepts of DOS Greenhouse, and what it's done for Kevin. And I hope that we can channel that power, because the Boerne 0.5K, I think Jay said every year, if you have no expectations, it's going to go great. Lower your expectations. We're starting it from the ground up. We are really figuring out what works for Kevin and his family. He's got young children, and he's got many volunteer hats that he wears in a business that's building it. And So I think all of those foundational things. So I think if anybody that's a member of DOS Greenhouse, because it's community building, our listener building Texas, or the many other ventures you do to bring businesses together, I think that's an opportunity to say, hey, but remember, Kevin's not coming into this season and having done it for the last 5 years. He's coming in as, and I remember that first meeting, I'm like, Kevin, just go read like some internet articles on how to put on a charity race. I know there's a lot of people, but I don't even think we're at the point to say we know quite how to organize it. So I think if people have something to offer, like we can help you with money. We love this event for Bernie. We can help you organize. We can help you find a band. We can help you build banners. Those are the kinds of gifts I think that would help us most right now. And that commitment to maybe you've got another avenue to help Blessings in a Backpack like Kevin has with this Cornhole League. Those are the things I think we're looking at. And we'll be out there with more information and a revitalized social media account. I think they're very soon.
Well, I appreciate y'all spending time with us today and taking up the charge of continuing a legacy around a great event that we put on in the community. And as you say that and make that call, I can see the names and faces of the people that are going to come in and serve in that way. Thank you both for the way that you are building Texas.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks, Justin.